Start just sort of gradually thinking, well, where could he possibly be? Because Andrew was never not here. The anxiety can be absolutely mind-bendingly awful. To the extent where you simply can't function, you just cannot think straight. How can you be that normal one night and then 16 years later I'm still thinking, is he alive? Nothing about that day connects up with the lad we knew. My name is Kevin Gosden. I'm the father of Andrew Gosden, who went missing when he was 14 in 2007. And 16 years later, we're still searching for him. He was ridiculously intellectual, and he was a very deep thinker as well. We used to have some really quite deep, profound conversations, and funny. And he was just really lovely to be around.
When the Gosden family sat down for dinner on the 14th of September 2007, their world was completely turned upside down.
So it doesn't appear, we just think, well, hasn't heard us, so obviously you start, and trekking around the house, and they're like, well, he's not in his room, and he's not in his... okay, well, perhaps he's at his mate's a few doors up, and you start just sort of gradually thinking, well, where could he possibly be? Because Andrew was never not here. And in the course of that process, ringing his friends and so on, we discovered that he'd never been in school that day, just hadn't even turned up. And that's when alarm bells really rang, because that was a complete first for Andrew.
Andrew waited on a bench here in the park until his parents had left for work and his sister had left for school. Andrew then headed back home and changed into a pair of black skinny jeans, a slipknot t-shirt, and grabbed his PlayStation, his keys and his wallet and headed for Doncaster train station. Andrew was caught on CCTV heading towards the train station. He took all of his money out of his bank account and bought a one-way ticket to London. This CCTV footage of Andrew leaving King's Cross is his last confirmed sighting. King's Cross is one of London's busiest train stations, with over 7,000 people passing through every single day. It also has its own tube station, allowing for easy travel all over the capital. The footage from the underground station on the day Andrew disappeared was actually deleted before it could be examined, so we have no idea where Andrew went after he left King's Cross.
We've spent 16 years, which is longer than we had him with us, obviously, trying to think of every and any possible place to search or way to search that we haven't come up with. And we've never had any confirmable sighting or information at all that has given us the slightest idea what may have happened to him. We've got absolutely no idea why he went, what he was thinking of, or... he'd seemed totally normal in the weeks and the evening before, up to walking off. See you later, Dad, yeah. Just got absolutely no idea, he didn't seem worried about anything, and if he was, he had plenty of access to support from, both school and obviously in the home. And yeah, it's just, I've kind of dried up now because it's just been so long, and then you go back into those memories. I think the closest thing I can ever describe it to people is when your children are little and they just run off somewhere, like on the beach or in the park or something, and you lose sight of them for a minute, and you kind of get that heart in your mouth, your stomach's all knotted up, panic sort of feeling, and kind of felt like that for 16 years, frankly.
Missing a loved one is very different to a loved one passing away. You know what happened to them, you know where they are, and you have closure. Ambiguous loss is a loss that occurs without a significant likelihood of reaching emotional closure or a clear understanding. This is a loss that the Gosden family have felt for 16 years. But they're not the only ones. There are thousands of people who are missing, with families who also don't have any closure.
David Wood, Lee Boxall, Quentin Godwin, Alice Gross, Finn Leyland Stratfield, Lucia, Neil Skinner, Madeleine, Simon Hodson Greaves, Trevor Patrick O'Donnell, Luke Durbin, Oscar.
I'm Martha McBriar and I'm the Helplines Manager for the charity Missing People. The charity offers a helpline that's available 9 a.m. to 11 p.m, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within that, there is a telephone helpline, a chat service, a text service, an email service, and there's also a chat service for young people who are experiencing exploitation. We also have a family support service, a lost contact service, a return home interview service, and we also have a service that specifically helps families where exploitation is a feature in their lives. That's the parents, carers and young people.
Many people who go missing will tend to go to a bus stop or a train station first. That's why Missing People have launched a campaign with South Western Railway called A Safe Way Home, which aims to not only find people who have gone missing, but also prevent people from going missing.
They are publicising our appeals on digiboards, they're doing voiceovers, they have posters. They have it on their tickets and on the little kiosks where you can get tickets. So they're really promoting the issue of missing with their helpline number, and it is so amazing to have something like that.
If you're a regular user of trains, you may have noticed that when you buy your tickets on the Trainline app, missing person appeals now pop up. The aim of the feature is to make the public aware of people who have gone missing within the area and provide information on the steps that they should take if they think they've seen the person in these posters. So I'm part of a Facebook group which basically puts up all the news in my local area, and I feel like lately I've been seeing a lot more missing person appeals. So I just thought it would be interesting if we went into the group on Facebook and just searched up the word missing just to see what comes up. Already straight away we have a missing 36-year-old man from Fareham. Further along, we have another missing person appeal, another missing person appeal, another missing person appeal. I mean, it does say, luckily, that quite a lot of these people are now found and hopefully reunited with their families.
But there is a few which do have a sad update. A body has unfortunately been found, but there are also quite a lot of these missing person appeals with no update, meaning that they are still missing and the families are still searching. In the UK, someone goes missing every 90 seconds, but what I want to find out now is why.
There are so many reasons why people go missing, and the reasons can be as diverse as people themselves. That being said, there are common features, and what we found is that in missing cases, around 80% will have gone missing and will have a mental health issue, and often they're experiencing a mental health breakdown or crisis when they go missing, and it's the same proportion that is true of adults and also young people too. So mental health and suicide, we can't separate those two, because sadly many people will go missing with the intent to attempt to take their lives.
Financial stresses is a big factor, especially with how things are at the minute with the cost of living crisis. Also, around half of the people suffering with dementia or Alzheimer's will go missing at some point. And for the younger generation, it's things like stresses at home, bullying and exploitation.
What I would say to someone who is thinking of going missing is the same as I would say to someone who is thinking of coming home. Call us. Let's have a talk about it. Let's see what we can do. In case of someone who wants to go missing or feels like running away, talk to them and see what options do I have, because that's one of the key factors when people run away. They think they have no other option, no other choice. And we'll talk to them and say, okay, that situation is going on for you. What can we put in place? What supports can be put in place to help you? Or it may be actually that it would be better for you not to be there, to be somewhere else. With the whole key theme of their safety. The safety is paramount. And for people going back home, call us, talk to us. What are your misgivings? What are you anxious about? What do you fear? Let's talk it through and let's have a plan for how you would do that. How would you like that to happen? Could we pass a message for you? That's another thing we can do. Can we connect you on a call with somebody important? And that could be family, or it could be a carer, or it could be a care home. Anything. What can we do that will help facilitate that? So call us, talk to us. We're here for so many aspects, for every aspect of missing.
One of the things I found the hardest to get my head around whilst making this documentary is, as a parent, how on earth do you deal with the not knowing and all of the unanswered questions? And it just made me wonder if, especially as someone who is, planning to go missing, do they think about the impact that that will have on their friends, their families, their loved ones? And the more I think about it, the more I think probably not, because they probably don't even think they're going to be missed at all when, they obviously will be. And it's just really, really sad.
I've never kept it a secret that it's caused huge mental health problems for me. Quite early on I had a breakdown during which I tried to take my own life, very nearly succeeded. But since that, obviously, I've had severe clinical depression. The anxiety that I mentioned a few minutes ago, that can be absolutely mind-bendingly awful. You just, to the extent where you simply can't function, you just cannot think straight because that's all that's gripping you. How could we be like just drying up the dishes the night before? And I put my arm around him and went, love you. He went, oh, Dad, you know, and that's, I mean, you know, how can you be that normal one night and then, like, you know, 16 years later, I'm still thinking, is he alive? What might he look like now? I mean, he could have kids of his own. I don't know, and that's the problem with it. There is nothing on the face of this earth. There's no therapy, no tablet, no nothing that actually can resolve that.
Over the last 16 years, Kevin has done countless interviews for TV, radio, podcasts, online articles. You name it, Kevin has most likely done it. So much that Andrew's case has become more of a true crime case, assumably because of all the unanswered questions. Why did he go to London that day? What happened after he left King's Cross? Where is he now? And with unanswered questions comes speculation, something the family have found incredibly hard to deal with. None of the speculation isn't anything that they haven't already thought of. But what do Andrew's parents believe happened to their son?
You know, she finds that she tends to think, because we cannot imagine him never getting in touch with us after all this time, that he may have taken his own life. I tend to think, well, if there were no signs that he was struggling with mental health before he went missing, so I tend to think more, well, perhaps he just went off to do something that he fancied and then, you know, ended up in a situation that was completely out of his control. You know, I mean, he could have been murdered or anything. Kind of thinking and talking about all that stuff can't get you anywhere because there is no more information, and we've tried to think of it all over and over and over again. Nothing about that day connects up with the that we knew.